It's your boy Nizzy, and we are in week 4 of the high school league for Overwatch, specifically Division 2. Let's take a look at week 3. We had Hollidaysburg up against Winber and Somerset up against Forest Hills for Division 2 Overwatch. And now it's time for our top 5 plays of Division 2 OW. Let's take a look at it. Starting off at number 5, it's CBG Hotshot of Forest Hills with a flank barrage, getting a triple kill. Got a couple of them there. Number 4, we're going to go to Stained Llama, who gets 2 Primal Rage boops off the map of Oasis to clear the point. And on to number 3, it's Vaco flanking. He's going to take out that soldier before wrapping around the steps, getting behind the Moira and behind, well, the rest of their team, and sticks the Mercy. Sticks the landing, takes out the Moira, and gets the help of a barrage for that number 3 kill play. Now let's take a look at number 2. It's Father Digior of Somerset, popping off as Hanzo, just taking names. Boom, there goes the Baptiste on the headshot. There goes the Reinhardt. He had a kill before that. This little Mercy is going to try to res or do something, and she's done. She's out. And now it's time for the number 1 play. It's going to be Vaco again with Widowmaker. 12 HP and a dream, gets the first kill with the AR, and boom, there's a snipe headshot onto Soupy Noodles, and there goes the Mercy for that play. Forest Hills 2-0 over Somerset, and there are your standings as Hollidaysburg on top, 3-0, Division 2, Overwatch. Nizzy's out.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to week 4 of the TEC High School League. We're finally starting to see some teams play each other again. We're, going back to week 1, Hollidaysburg versus Somerset. I'm Zwan, joined by Master Hamster. Alex, this was a very interesting game, week 1. It was very quick, and I'm hoping to see something maybe a little different out of Somerset.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the stats, watching the game back, it was a little bit one-sided, unfortunately. Hollidaysburg really showing how dominant they are. But as you said, this is week 4. Somerset has had some time to tie up some of their loose ends and maybe work on some areas that need some improvement. So I think there is definitely a possibility that we may see a much more competitive game at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, definitely. And, checking out this week's map pool, maybe seeing a little bit different approaches to everything. Nepal, Dorado, Hanamura. Like the first week, we saw things like Havana. We saw things, and I think our control was actually also Nepal. So maybe not Nepal, but Dorado and Havana do give a little bit of different playing style. So hopefully we see something different there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is interesting that Nepal is the same as we've seen in the past, but I'm a big fan of Nepal. I really like seeing Nepal, and in the collegiate space, we don't get to see it a lot, unfortunately. So I'm very excited to see how these teams play on this first map, being Nepal. I just can't wait, honestly.
Yeah, no, 100%. And let's check out our rosters for this week. On the side of Hollidaysburg, our home team for the week, we have V Snipes, Ala, and Juice Man. And of course, 3 players who are playing under an anonymous name on the Hollidaysburg esports computers. I don't necessarily feel comfortable saying their names on air, as if they don't provide it for us, I don't want to say it for the audience. And then, going away to Somerset. Alex, you want to talk about these players?
Yeah, of course. On the tank lineup for Somerset, we have Bub Did and Public Honey. On the DPS line, we have Bees Fave and Father D. And then finally on the support lineup, we have Thick Swiss and Soupy Noodles, possibly my favorite combination of names. The Dream Team support lineup being Thick Swiss and Soupy Noodles. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's fun. It is fun. And we're going to be hopping into game number 1 on Nepal in just a second. Please make sure to follow Tech High School League everywhere that you can. You can use the command, I think, socials, exclamation socials, to follow them anywhere. Follow them on Twitter, follow them here on Twitch. You'll see us every week on Wednesdays, starting at 3:30 Eastern. I'm not going to say standard time anymore, because we're not in standard time anymore. I don't know time zones anymore. So, but it is Eastern.
Yeah, is it not Eastern Standard Time, or is that
Eastern
changed
daytime now? So because of the time change, it goes from standard to daytime.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. All right. You learn something new every day. But here we go on Nepal. I'm really excited to see what sort of lineups and compositions we're going to see going in here. And something that I do see is, I was going to say, potentially a Junkrat on the side of Somerset and a Torb on the side of Hollidaysburg. I love Torb, a very fun character, and sometimes a little silly as well, but we don't see it a whole lot in pro play. So I really love to see the collegiate high school kind of pulling out the Torb when it is appropriate.
No, 100%. And yeah, a very similar composition for each side coming into this game. The only difference really, Father did go Beast Wave switching the roles that they have previously, but immediately B-Snipes going in, trying to get as much damage onto Fixwis as they can. But actually a very nice rotation by the side of Somerset, coming in, protecting their Mercy player. And that's vital for, keeping all of these players alive, making sure their damage output is great. But the way Somerset is positioned, it has allowed Hollidaysburg to take the point immediately, and they're already starting to cap some points. And Beast Wave's low. Beast Waves has to heal themselves, not able to put that damage out there comparatively to the soldier on the side of Hollidaysburg. And finally a bit of aggressive coming in, and no defense matrix onto that Moira orb. Maybe a bit of miscommunication there by the side of Hollidaysburg.
Yeah, and I think you pointed out exactly correctly, as we see one of Hollidaysburg's players go down, is that the way that Somerset was set up in the beginning, they had to change their position, and we have a massive shatter here.
Yeah, huge shatter, finishing us all up. And honestly, Alex, this is kind of how I expected it to go. But interestingly enough, I do want to comment that the ult percentages for the side of Somerset looking a little bit better than Hollidaysburg. Obviously, Hollidaysburg using 2 ults there, but looking pretty nice.
Absolutely. We'll have to see if Bee's Fave can do anything with this soldier ultimate, because we know how impactful it can be, but it can also get shut down pretty easily as well, so they have to be careful. And it seems like they've been struggling with keeping some of their players alive, but here we go. Ultimates galore are being dropped left and right. Soldier ultimate is going to get shut down effectively by the immortality field. And again, Somerset just not able to find those picks that they need, as V-Snipes picking up one, and that Reinhardt's going to pick up one as well.
Indeed. And Alex, they're investing ults into this fight already, and points are ticking through, and Somerset does get a res off, but instantly everyone does go down, and Graphitic Flux also used. I don't even think this is going to be very worth it. They're not able to touch, especially with that Molten Core on the field, and 95%. Can anyone touch it into this final fight? They're not switching over to do anything to touch at this point, and I don't even think Moira can even call in sin, and sadly, first point has gone the way of Somerset. Or excuse me, the way of Hollidaysburg.
The way of Hollidaysburg. Yeah, I think really the big point that you touched on at the very beginning was the positioning of Somerset, right? They took that high ground, which is a good move, but at the end of the day, they weren't able to contest. Even though they had high ground, they weren't getting any of those picks that they needed to, which just allowed Hollidaysburg to roll through and start capping, getting point, forcing Somerset to move, change position, and then they just weren't able to finally break onto the point. They couldn't break Hollidaysburg's defense.
Definitely. Coming into this final round, we're going to be on, or not final round, but we are going to be going into this with a bit of a different composition. V-Snipe going to the Hammond. A little bit of an interesting choice, especially as the rest of Hollidaysburg already staying on a similar composition as they have in the first round, and not taking the aggressive stance to overlooking the point. They're instead going more for as little angles off as possible. But V-Snipe, I already see them going in for a slam, not getting the slam in, but point will be taken it all against the first pick, and surely Public Honey going down has to give a bit of a rotation back for Somerset.
Yeah, they have to do something about this Torb turret that is just raining down across the way, really making it difficult for Somerset to move forward, just constantly poking out the shield, while the Hammond in the background is just doing so much disruption. Hollidaysburg's got to be careful, though. That Immortality field was immaculate.
Yeah, definitely immaculate play. All of a sudden, our Reinhardt's so low, they might be going down. I don't even think there's enough healing to keep them on the board. But oh, Alec taking out Public Honey. They're not going to have their main tank anymore. B-Says goes down as well. And this is just a kill chamber currently, as everyone for Somerset goes down. And Hollidaysburg looking very nicely as they go 35 up.
It's so unfortunate because Somerset had that opportunity. They had the Reinhardt very, very low. They were pushing on to the point. They just weren't able to find those kills that they desperately needed. And at the end of the day, they ended up cornering themselves.
Yeah, they did, and suddenly we're going into this next fight already. Mines have been dropped by V-Snipes, trying to get as much as they can, and Public Honey, wasn't the first one down, but is the second immediately. Another win fight quickly for Hollidaysburg. Does allow a bit of a reset, but Coalescence has been invested, not for too long, as Soupy Noodles goes down to the swinging of a Reinhardt player for Hollidaysburg, and a charge onto Bubden takes them out so fast. 71% on the board, and they should reset right now.
Yes, they should. It looks like they're just going in single file. They're not grouping up as a team as they should be, especially when they have 3 ultimates that could be very impactful. But we are going to see Beefsfave pick up 1 here on the Soldier. This may be the opportunity Somerset needs, and they're going to use the Sim ult as well.
They do, and I do want to comment out there that our Reinhardt player used a shatter on a very empty point, and that has actually allowed Somerset to take back this point in overtime. 99% of the board. Some people are touching, some people are trying to contest this, but ults are being used by Somerset. This may be exactly what Hollidaysburg wants to do. Father Degore getting so much done with that turret, and a bit of life now for the side of Somerset.
Yeah, this is looking a lot better for them. Bees Fave kind of popping off a little bit with this Junkrat, just dealing so much damage, which, again, that's what we were talking about. Somerset was able to deal damage, but they weren't able to find those kills, so maybe they could keep up this push that they have here, able to find the kills that they need. We'll have to see. Public Honey needs to stay alive a little bit longer for these fights.
Yeah, they definitely have to stay longer, but not soon enough. V-Snipes gets both of these tanks immediately with those mines. Just a beautiful retake. Beefsace does get one in the end, but it is not going to matter. No one is going to be able to touch, and Hollidaysburg will be taking game number 1 in this best of 3.
Yeah, and something about Hollidaysburg is I really liked the switch to the Hammond. It was a little bit different than their original comp, but I think the Hammond did such a great job of disrupting and getting play of the game as well, but doing a great job of disrupting the flow of Somerset and a lot of displacement, moving them around, making it really difficult for Somerset to really set up how they want to, even forcing them into this corner here.
Yeah, no, great play. Great coordination by Hollidaysburg. It's always very fun to see them, and we'll be actually hopping into game number 2 in just a short few minutes. So please stay tuned for the Tech High. I was gonna say TEC again, for the Tech High School League. So stay tuned after this. I'm gonna just stand here awkwardly. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Tech High School League. We're in week number 4, watching a great series between Hollidaysburg and Somerset. Hollidaysburg winning the ball in quite convincing fashion. Somerset showing a little bit of life, though, getting some points on the board. I'm Zohan, joined by Alex. And Alex, as we jump into Dorado, how can Somerset coming back from here?
Yeah, honestly, a great question. We did see a little bit of life from Somerset near the end of Nepal. Again, we've talked about it a little bit, that they're able to get damage, especially when they have some strong DPS like the Bees Fave on Junkrat, but sometimes they struggle with finding that kill. They're able to do the damage, especially on the characters that they need to do the damage to, but it sometimes it is a bit difficult for them to secure those kills, and that's where I really think they need to start focusing on their communication and their target focus. They can't let Reinhardt walk away with 1 health anymore. They need to make sure that they finish off that character. They need to make sure that the Reinhardt is gone before they switch to a different target. And on the side of Hollidaysburg, they need to be careful for V-Snipes on this Hammond, who did such a fantastic job last game, disrupting and forcing Somerset to move in the way that Hollidaysburg wanted. So again, that's something that they'll have to keep. Somerset needs to keep in the back of their mind, especially as they're being careful around this first push. I do like Father D on the Hanzo. I think that will allow them to have a lot of damage. They just have to be careful for something like the Winston, who could jump in on him.
Yeah, all immediately goes down. A beautiful headshot by Father D. But V-Snipes immediately comes in, slams, takes the entire support line. This kind of has to be a little reset, but there is no contention on the card, and all of a sudden V-Snipes takes out our soldier player. Does get rezzed out, but our Winston as well goes down. V-Snipes, however, just coming in and getting everyone, absolutely destroying people on this Hammond. And you know, with this composition, Alex, I don't know if I really like. I don't know if I like. I love I love the ball, but this Winston doesn't allow for much peeling, and obviously these mines coming out maybe gonna force a rotation. That excuse me, V-Snipes just gonna murder everyone currently.
Yeah, you know, I was worried about, you know, Somerset kind of being careful for V-Snipes with maybe being pushed around a little bit, but V-Snipes has taken that to an entirely different level by just putting the team on their back and just saying, hey, I could just fight the whole team as Hammond. But I think you're right. The Winston doesn't really add that sort of peel, and basically in this case is trying to do the job of V-Snipes Hammond, just not as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, and V-Snipes just stalling this for so long that Somerset not even able to move the cart more than 40 meters. That is not that far at all. And ooh, Alla just finishing out so many kills there, and 2 minutes already left. 2 minutes taken off the clock already, and oh, so many nice ults and win conditions for the side of Hollidaysburg.
Yeah, and I think at this point, if you're Somerset, you're probably going to want to start looking to maybe switching up your team comp a little bit. This double shield is not necessarily working out, especially because of the amount of dive that Hollidaysburg has. But again, they might just be comfortable on these characters for the most, and switching even to a potentially better comp may be worse. The Mercy gets 2 kills. What just happened here? 3 kills.
Juice man. Juice man. Okay, well that just happened. We're gonna. Oh yeah, that was very fun to see. You know, obviously Hollidaysburg up 1-0 in this series. Somerset has to win this to force a map 3, but coming down to 1 minute 20 seconds left on the clock as we get another fight going. Father D takes out our Winston player from the side of Hollidaysburg. That is massive, but a beautiful mines from V-Snipe, kind of forcing most of the rest of this team of Somerset backing up to back up a little bit, take out those mines, get in a more comfortable position. But I am looking at these ults from the side of Somerset as that Bongo goes down from Public Honey. That is so much damage out, but I'm sorry, all it takes out Father D already, and with that Bongo going down, oh, this is gonna be massive. Our soldier player getting 2 already, and just massive amounts of damage coming into this. And Alex, 30 seconds left. Gonna be 30 seconds left by the time they can get this next fight.
Yeah, absolutely, and they still have their ultimates, but as I say that Hanzo's gonna use their ultimate, Father D the ultimate from Hanzo is gone. Now they still have 3 ultimates to work with, but I really wish that Father D held on to that ultimate a little bit longer, as we see Soldier using theirs as well.
Yeah, immediately. But Coalescence by Supinoles gonna get. Oh, that was actually very nicely used. All right, if you are curious, everyone watching that right now, there is an observer, not an observer bug, an observer feature that, due to the fact that how Overwatch is designed, you can't actually see the coalescence of any red team Moiras. Fun little fact as we go into overtime. Father D takes out a Soldier immediately. Ults are going to be invested into this fight, trying to get the cart to point A as soon as they can. Mine's immediately released, and I don't think this is going to be enough for Somerset. So many players going down. Oh, with that Death Blossom, they're just going to finish it out. And it's a little further than I expected, honestly, by the side of Somerset, but quite a dominant first hold by Hollidaysburg.
Yeah, I completely agree. And honestly, when we saw Father D use the Hanzo ult, didn't really get anything at that corner there. I thought that's where Somerset was going to get stopped. I thought they weren't going to be able to get any further because they were a little bit staggered. But somehow, some way, they were able to pick up a couple good picks and just keep moving to push the cart a little bit further. So they have a little bit of space. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get to checkpoint 1. But when we're talking about this defense, we have to be looking at V Snipes, the Hammond player for the side of Hollidaysburg, doing so much. And I really don't see them switching off of the Hammond. They look so comfortable, so dominant in this position. Why would they change? even on attack?
Yeah. Oh, honestly, they're well, changing up a little bit. We have a having a hog potentially, maybe.
Double
you
hog?
actually like this? Not double hog. Ooh, but I like Somerset's more.
Yes, I like Somerset's hog more. Oh no, V Snipes. Maybe potentially going in, it was hovering that Zarya. I think that could have been a potentially good move, but then you really have to worry about the peel from both of your tanks. I think V Snipes is just better off staying on this Hammond, and that is what they are going to do as Hollidaysburg starts their offense.
Yeah, they immediately start their offense. Beast phase gets, oh, that's a massive first pick, and Juice Man goes down as well. This is beautiful for Somerset trying to take this to game number 2. Remember, they are down 1-0 in a best of 3. And Father Degore, beautiful shots, getting all of these players in the backline, playing incredibly aggressive. Gonna be punished by V Snipes, however. So that was a beautiful punishment. And please, thanks, Swiss, why don't go for that res? Just in the future, please understand, when you're going against a hog trying to res, you are going to be stopped and follow. The kills are coming in. V Snipes all getting 2 already. And Hook coming in, and oh, Public Honey gonna be gone. No ults online yet. This is still a neutral fight. Excuse me. Make that correction.
Oh, no.
Parsec was hiding the fact that V Snipes had those mines, and Beast Phase gets all up, but the res will be coming out, and I don't think anyone is left to touch here. And yeah, they're already coming to stop it. Thick Swiss, all that remains, and Soupy Noodles as well. But sadly, it is not enough as Hollidaysburg takes game number 2 and takes the series in a very similar fashion to week number 1, 2-0.
Yes, absolutely. V Snipes, of course, getting the play of the game as well. I mean, definitely the player to look out for sure. This Hammond was a menace, dealing so much damage. Practically uncontested, as we see from this replay here. Oh my gosh, 18 pile driver kills out of the 28 eliminations. Doing a fantastic job. Somerset looked really, really strong at the start of their defense. They were getting a lot of the kills, a lot of the picks that they needed on important targets like the Mercy, but they weren't able to hold on to it. Somehow, even with a little bit of a man advantage, they still ended up losing the fight, and then they were just so staggered that by the time that Hollidaysburg was in full push of the cart, there was no one left. Thick Swiss trying their best to run back to point, but no one to leap to. So very unfortunate. But I will say, while it was similar to week number 1, Somerset did look a bit stronger. And I think we saw a little bit of life in the second half of Nepal. We saw a little bit of life on the very beginning of their defense. I think there is some life from Somerset, and they are constantly improving, which is something that we, of course, can harp on. But of course, Hollidaysburg, the menace, the titan that they are, looking unstoppable in this division.
Yeah, no, incredible. And if you didn't know, actually, V Snipes is a Valorant player also for the Division One Valorant side of Hollidaysburg. So quite a multifaceted player. Incredible work today for our Hammond, mostly our Hammond one trick. They did play Diva that first map, but first point, excuse me, as well.
Yeah,
But yeah, just incredible work. And going into this, Hollidaysburg has to be the favorites to win the overall championship, right?
yeah, they are my favorite for sure. Of course, Forest Hills is there in the second seed right now, but I mean, Hollidaysburg looks untouchable, if I'm going to be honest. So certainly they are the favorite. They're undefeated. I'm not really sure there's anyone right now who could take them.
Yeah, I don't as well, but that's any final words for our broadcast today, Alex? Just
No,
don't really. Hollidaysburg's good. That's
yeah, exactly. Hollidaysburg, very good, very dominant. I love to see some improvement from Somerset as well. But at the end of the day, sometimes Goliath really is just a titan that you have to look up to and slowly work your way to take them down. So again, how do you eat an elephant? Bite by bite. Somerset's got to take their losses with a little bit of sugar, because if they keep practicing, keep working on it, I am sure they will be able to take down Hollidaysburg one day. But for now, Hollidaysburg definitely the favorites.
Yeah, definitely the favorites for sure. But everyone, this is it for it today. We haven't really talked about it before, but I think we talked about it once, but one of our teams did drop out of Division 2. So sadly, we're not going to be able to show 2 games for our broadcast. So that is it for our broadcast today. Please be sure to come back next week, exact same time, here at the Tech High School League channel, and where we're going to be watching some great more Division 2 Overwatch. And of course, starting tomorrow at this exact same time over at the Esports Company, we're going to be the second half of our week's Division 1 Rocket League. As usual, please use Commands Social and Commands Caster if you want to follow us, and of course the Tech High School League Social. But yeah, that has been it for us today. We do hope you've enjoyed it. So on and Alex, all right, and we're signing off.
Bye.